Writ of Mandamus is a special tool to resolve unreasonable delays. So a lot of time, I see that especially in recent times, in asylum cases, there's a lot of delay, especially even sometime I saw like 7 to 8 years, 9 years kind of delay in asylum cases, which is really, really unreasonable, and it should not be that long. So to address that issue, definitely we can use writ of mandamus to resolve this issue. First question is, what is a writ of mandamus? It is a lawsuit in a federal court to compel a USCIS office or another court to do their job within a reasonable time. So, by the way, in our today's presentation, I will use the word reasonable delay a lot, and I'll definitely explain what is a reasonable delay, how long is a reasonable delay, and everything. But you have to remember this word reasonable delay anytime you think of writ of mandamus. So, bottom line, what writ of mandamus does is they compel any kind of government official. It doesn't have to be for immigration. It can be for any government matters. You are compelling a government officer to do their job in time. That is kind of like the very simplest term. When can you file writ of mandamus? So the short answer is anytime when there is an unreasonable delay, you can file writ of mandamus. So, in a asylum settings, whenever you submit your asylum application, the next step is getting fingerprint, like a biometric appointment. Sometime you get it within 1 month or 2 months, which is good. Excuse me, which is good. So, however, sometimes it takes 1 year, 2 year, or even 3 years just to get a fingerprint appointment, which is extremely like unreasonable. I do not understand why they need like a 2, 3 years just to get a fingerprint done, but sometimes it happens. In my opinion, probably they just forget about the case. They just put the case in a shelf and they just totally forget about that. So yes, if there is a delay in getting fingerprints, you can file writ of mandamus. After sorry, I forget to mention one thing here. So after the fingerprint, the next thing is application for work authorization, EAD card application. Usually you are eligible to apply for EAD card after 5 months of submitting your application. So after 5 months, let's say you applied for EAD card, which is I-765, it's a form. And usually you are supposed to get the EAD card approved within 1 or 2 months. Sometimes I saw that people do not get their EAD card, do not get their work authorization even after 1 year of filing the application. So again, you can also file writ of mandamus to get your work authorization application approved. The next thing is interview. Whenever you submit a USCIS application, asylum application to USCIS, interview is the number one, the most important stage. If you do not get an interview within 1 year of submitting your application, you can definitely file writ of mandamus to get the interview scheduled. And in our experience, this is the most commonly used step for writ of mandamus for asylum cases. So most of the writ of mandamus related to asylum application happens for getting a interview scheduled within a reasonable time. So again, let's say you already have your interview, and the interview officer usually tells you'll get the result within 1 or 2 months. However, sometimes people do not get result within even 1 to 3 years. In that case, you can definitely file writ of mandamus to get your asylum interview result. Then in the result, USCIS officer may approve your case. If they approve your case, then that's good. You get the green card. If they do not approve your case, sometimes they will just say, sorry, we are not approving your case. We are denying your case. In that case, you can go to court, immigration court by yourself, and by yourself meaning with the help of your attorney. Sometime USCIS officer will say, well, I cannot come to any conclusion, so I am submitting or transferring your case to a immigration court for further processing. So once USCIS transfer your case to an immigration court, sometime the court will schedule your master hearing within a reasonable time, sometime they will not. In my experience, I saw sometimes people do not get the first hearing, which is called master hearing, within 2 3 years. In that case, you can also file writ of mandamus to compel the immigration court to schedule a master hearing. So bottom line is, anytime when there is a delay, you are entitled to submit or file writ of mandamus. The question is how long you have to wait. I'll definitely discuss that in a minute, but you have to wait a certain period of time before you file writ of mandamus, because just because some agency or some office is delaying, let's say 1 month or 2 months, you cannot submit writ of mandamus. Your case will not be accepted by the court. What is an unreasonable delay? As I said, in writ of mandamus question, this is the number one, this is the most important question. How long is the unreasonable delay? There is no right answer. There is no magic answer for this. It depends on the situation. It depends on the court. It depends on the application. So everything is up in the air in terms of defining unreasonable delay. On the top of that, different attorney may define it in a different way. Let's say today I'm telling you that after applying for asylum application, if you do not get your fingerprint done within 1 year, you can file writ of mandamus. And another attorney may say, well, no, not 12 months. I would say 18 months. Who is right? Me, I'm saying 12 months. Another attorney is saying 18 months. Well, both of us are right, because law works in that way. It is subject to interpretation. Every attorney will interpret his or her way, and the judge will decide who is right, who is wrong. And even one judge may say this is right, another judge may say this is wrong. So that is the beauty of law. There is no black and white answer. Everything is in the gray area. So reasonable delay, the way I define, let me tell you, for fingerprint, I would say you have to wait at least 1 year before you submit your asylum application. For work authorization, I would also say at least 1 year before you submit writ of mandamus to get work authorization done. For interview, also, I would say at least 1 year. But if you want better result, I would say please wait 2 years, because there's a huge delay. Excuse me. There's a huge delay in asylum application processing. So I would say if you're waiting for more than 2 years to get an interview, then file writ of mandamus. That will be more beneficial to you. And then getting the court schedule, especially for master hearing, I would say another year to wait for before you submit writ of mandamus to get your master hearing scheduled. So usually for everything 1 year, for interview I would say 2 years. And again, this is also, it depends on many factors. Sometime I may say, no, 6 months is over, let's do it. Sometime I will say, well, even though 1 year is over, but let's wait a little bit, then we'll file writ of mandamus. So this unreasonable delay is very subjective, depending on many factors. So there is no black and white answer. Everything is gray. So before filing a mandamus, I would recommend you must exhaust all available options before you go for mandamus, because mandamus, number one, it is expensive. Like our firm is probably one of the less expensive firm in terms of writ of mandamus in the entire America. A lot of law firms, they charge like a $10,000, $12,000 just to file a mandamus lawsuit. We charge like $3,000. Not only is expensive, at the same time, according to law, writ of mandamus, like a mandamus lawsuits, are supposed to be the last resort. So you must exhaust all available options before, even if you move for writ of mandamus. So the first thing is, I would request you to request the office to expedite your case. So let's say your case is pending in a USCIS office. Call them or send them email. I understand that sometimes it's very hard to get them on the phone line. Especially, USCIS customer service, it's very hard to find a human, but they have a robot called Emma. You can ask about your case to Emma. Emma sometimes give good information, sometimes she doesn't. But try your best to call them, email them, request them to expedite your case. If they cannot do it, the next option is ombudsman office. There's an office called immigration ombudsman. They can inquire about your case, and sometime based on their inquiry, your case may move forward fast. Sometimes it may not happen. The next option is federal senator / congressman. So you have to find your local federal senator or congressman. I have to tell something here. There are two kinds of government in America. One is a federal government, one is a state government. Federal government has senators and congressmen. Very similarly, every state has their own senator and congressman. So please do not contact your state senators or congressmen. You should contact your local federal senator or congressman. And you can also contact both senator and congressman. Usually there's 2 senators in every state, so you can contact both senators. And usually there's one congressman in your district. You can contact all 3 of them. That's fine. There's no problem with that. So contact your federal senators or congressman. Sometimes it helps. Even after doing all the trying all these options, if your case do not move forward, then you file writ of mandamus. Writ of mandamus is the last resort when you have no other available options. What is the steps of writ of mandamus? So first, we file a lawsuit to a U.S. district court. So again, there's two different court system here in America. One is a federal court system, and one is the state court system. So no matter which state you live, let's say you live in Maryland, Maryland has its own state court system and also federal court system. So writ of mandamus lawsuits must be filed to the federal district court, not the state court. Then after submitting the case to the court, by the way, we usually take like 2 weeks to prepare your case and submit it to the court. The next step is receive summons from the court. Court usually take, I would say, 2 to 3 business days to issue the summon and send it back to us. Once we receive the summon, we print it and ship it to all the defendants. Usually there is 10 to 12 defendants in every writ of mandamus lawsuits. That's why there's also like a expensive like a shipping cost. We use FedEx. So let's say to submit summons to 10 defendants, probably there'll be like a $150 to $200 just to ship those documents. That's why I said mandamus lawsuits are expensive. Also, there's a court fee of $402. So once we send summons to the defendants, OSA is Assistant U.S. Attorney. So the Assistant U.S. Attorney in that district, he or she will communicate with us, and there's a lot of back and forth communication before you get the results. Sometimes it takes 60 days, sometimes 90 days, sometimes it takes a little more than that to get results, but usually it happens within 60 to 90 days. And within this 60 to 90 days, there's a lot of communication back and forth between me means your attorney, and OSA. By the way, most of the communication between me and the OSA are privileged. I'm not entitled to share those information to our clients. Previously, I tried to share some of the court information to my clients, and court specifically asked me not to share those information to you because all these communications are privileged. So yes, my communication with OSA, my communication with the client, definitely I'm representing you. I'm doing everything for the best outcome for you, but I'll not be entitled to share all the information with you. Few things to know before we end our discussion today. Number one, purpose of mandamus is not to approve your case. A lot of time when people come to us and they try to file mandamus, they say, oh, you must get my case approved through this mandamus. Well, that is not the purpose of this case. The purpose of mandamus is to get your case move forward faster. The purpose of mandamus is to compel the officer who is working on your case within a reasonable time. So when it moves forward, your case may get denied. However, in most of the cases, like according to our experience, in more than 99% case, your case may get approved. So which is a good thing for you. That's why we file mandamus lawsuits. But it is not like automatically getting approved. In a worst case scenario, your case may get denied fast. That is also an outcome of mandamus. So you have to know this thing. And when we get a result, either a positive or negative, within a reasonable time, that is the positive outcome of mandamus. So I hope you understand this scenario. The second thing is there is no fixed course of action. As I said, law is subject to interpretation. Every case is different. Every judge is different. Every law clerk is different. Everybody process their case in their own way, in a unique way. So a lot of time our clients say, well, my friend filed a mandamus lawsuit with another law firm and it went this way. Why it is in my case, it is going in a different way? Well, every case is different. Every court is different. So that's why I said there is no fixed course of action. Me as your attorney, I take decision based on the circumstance, based on the situation. Every case is different. It will move forward in a different way. I mean, it may move forward in the same way. That is possible too. But in general, every course of action is different. The last thing you should know before we conclude our discussion is you will not understand all activity. So, mandamus lawsuit, any court procedure, it's a complex procedure. Let me tell you just one thing. So whether I should file your case to Federal District Court of Washington, D.C. or Federal District Court of Maryland, this simple calculation is a complex legal calculation called venue shopping. So, venue shopping is a big topic. In the law school, we studied 3 weeks. This it's called forum shopping or venue shopping. So, I'm not going to, explain the entire venue shopping or forum shopping things with you. I will make the judgment whether I am supposed to submit your case to DC or Maryland, and I'll just tell you, please trust me, I'm doing the best for you. So similarly, there is a lot of action that we as attorney we take to getting your case approved for the best outcome for you, but you will not understand everything, and this is what it is. This is the system. So you have to trust your attorney. No matter you retain our service or service from another law firm, I advise you to trust your attorney. If you do not trust your attorney, please do not take that service, because at the end of the day, it's very hard for attorney to explain everything to you. At the same time, it is very hard for you to understand everything by yourself. So trust your attorney, let your attorney do whatever best for you, and depend on that. So that was our short discussion about writ of mandamus for asylum cases.